Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is MTG Traders. My name is Taryn, and this is June 26th for Hour of Devastation spoiler season. I hope everyone is well rested because it's going to be another week of spoilers and freakouts. I, for one, cannot wait. Okay, so let's get into it. Commons and uncommons first, of course. Griffon Combatant is 1 blue mana for a 1/1 human warrior with Internalize for 4 colorless and 2 blue mana. Okay, this I can get behind. So a vanilla 1/1 in blue is always bad. But what if that 1/1 becomes a vanilla 4/4 for 6 mana later in the game, essentially doubling its usefulness? It's still pretty bad, guys. This basically moves the needle from unplayable to slightly more playable. It's a draft and sealed card only though, for sure. Unless there are cards out there that lessen the cost of Eternalize, this won't see any sort of standard or brew play. Sinious Striker is 2 colorless and 1 blue mana for a 2/2 Naga Warrior. Pay 1 blue mana. Sinious Striker gets +1, -1 until end of turn. It also has Eternalize for 3 colorless and 2 blue mana, and discard a card. Again, Eternalize just seems so expensive here for what you get. However, the ability to get in with a possible 7/1 if you have the mana is pretty good. Just gotta make sure you make it clear of blockers. But discarding a card also feeds into your graveyard, which could mean more Eternalized creatures later in the game. So for me, I think this is only useful in sealed. A decent bear that can trade up, but it is absolutely unplayable in standard. Unraveling Mummy is 1 colorless, 1 white, and 1 black mana for a 2/3 zombie. Pay 1 colorless and 1 white mana, target attacking zombie gains lifelink until end of turn. Or you can pay colorless and 1 black mana, target attacking zombie gains death touch until end of turn. I think this zombie is really powerful. And in sealed, if you pull into enough zombies, it can really do a number on how your opponent blocks. Lifelink nets you a few extra turns, and Death Touch makes your opponent's blocks much more difficult. Will this see standard play? Most likely no. Not until the rotation when Ixalan is released at least. Mono black zombies and even black-white zombies has very few slots for wiggle room. This is a sort of slow utility card, you know. I would wait until set rotation to consider using him in standard, and even then I'm a bit leery. But again, draft and sealed, he's crazy good. Alrighty, moving on to rares. Ammit Eternal is 2 colorless and 1 black mana for a 5/5 zombie Crocodile demon with a flick 3. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, put a -1/-1 counter on Ammit Eternal. Whenever Ammit Eternal deals combat damage to a player, remove all -1/-1 counters from it. Wow! Put this in a Hapatra deck right now, or better yet, cast this with Solemnity out on the field. You get a 5/5 with a flick 3 for 3 damage. Devastating. This also works well with Ronus, and I feel like it could see some standard play. This is even better than a Plague Belcher, as you don't have to kill something as it comes into play. But at worst, this card is probably just a 3/3 that must be blocked each turn, and your opponent loses a possible 3 to 6 life. Still quite good. A draft and sealed bomb for sure. And I feel that a Hapatra or Ronus deck will love this as an inclusion. Look out for this Crocodile in the near future. Refuse is 3 colorless and 1 red mana for an instant. Refuse deals damage to target spell's controller equal to that spell's converted mana cost. Once it hits the graveyard, you can cast its Aftermath Cooperate for 2 colorless and 1 blue mana for an instant. Copy target instant or sorcery spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. Refuse seems like an amazing card to cast out if someone's casting a Nicol Bolas. Ouch! As for Cooperate, having a slightly more expensive twin cast is probably pretty good. A good situation for this to be used would be like with Magma Spray, where creatures need an extra damage or 2 to get the exile, and Cooperate does that for 3 mana. Of course, that's a conservative casting card. Copying a draw spell, a kill spell, or anything else is value city. I'm not sure how well it'll fare in draft and sealed as the card pool is lower, but I do think that EDH players will absolutely love this card in their Izzet decks. As for standard, cards like this rarely show up there, but blue-red control is currently a powerful deck, so we may see this as either a kill spell with the ability to stack counters, or something along those lines. I do like it a lot. Champion of Wits is 2 colorless and 1 blue mana for a 2/1 Naga Wizard. When Champion of Wits enters the battlefield, you may draw cards equal to its power. If you do, discard 2 cards. It also has Eternalize for 5 colorless and 2 blue mana. Fun fact, you can actually pump this creature as its enter the battlefield trigger is on the stack, getting even more card draw for the initial investment. Besides that, a cool interaction. This is a fun card. It gives card advantage as well as being a 2/1 body that can turn into a 4/4 later in the game. But, you know, that's for 7 mana. That's, it's kind of insane. But I guess it's worth it. And you do also have to discard 2 cards. That could feed into Delirium or Eternalize as well. It's still very good. In draft and sealed, this is a fine dude, but in standard, this may seem like a bulk rare. In EDH though, this guy is going to be amazing if you can buff him really well. Go wild, EDH players, I know you will anyway. God-Pharoh's Gift is 7 colorless for an artifact. At the beginning of your combat on your turn, you may exile a creature card from your graveyard. If you do, create a token that's a copy of that card, except it's a 4/4 black zombie. It gains haste until end of turn. 7 mana is a lot, but Gate to the Afterlife from the previous set is here to get this card out for only 4 mana, so that's nice. Besides that, this is a great way to get value for Eternalize, without actually paying the Eternalize cost. I appreciate that. As for playability, I'm sure there'll be a Brood kitchen table deck for this, with Gate to the Afterlife, but that just seems incredibly slow to me. We'll see though. For Draft and Sealed, if you play this down, it turns your turns into 4/4 damage clocks, and if your opponent can't handle that pressure, then it's a win for you. Note that you don't exile your creature at the end of the turn, so you can grow a 4/4 army. I think EDH players are going to absolutely love breaking this card down and creating a zombie horde. But finally for today, we've only got one mythic, but it's a doozy. Overwhelming Splendor is 6 colorless and 2 white mana for an enchantment or a curse. Creatures enchanted player controls lose all abilities and have base power and toughness 1/1. Enchanted player can't activate abilities that aren't mana abilities or loyalty abilities. Wow! In Draft and Sealed, this card is insanity. If you can get it out for its 8 mana cost, then good for you. You've won the match. This card completely shuts down your opponent's creatures and momentum until they can try to remove this card. But thanks to it being an enchantment, very few players will have a response on game 1, and very little cards on game 2. In Standard, this card is way too pricey, but I wish it could be used because its ability is ridiculous. There's actually talk of this in a modern curse deck though, and I really like that idea too. But the mana cost is clearly saying something for me here. EDH. That is where this will find its home. So much power. You're definitely going to be the most hated player on the table, so watch out for that. And that is it for spoilers for today. Which cards did you like the most? God-Pharaoh's Gift is mine for today. I can't wait to play that in Draft and Sealed. So crazy. Like the video if you liked it, and subscribe to MTG Traders for more content, news, and gameplay videos in the future. I'll see you guys tomorrow.